Welcome to my complete analysis of this 8-day vacation cruise to the Caribbean on the Sky Princess. This will be a series of videos covering every aspect of the cruise. I will be giving my honest opinion about everything I experienced in the hope you can use this knowledge to decide if you want to do the same and maybe learn a few tricks on things to do and to avoid. The cost analysis will be done in troy ounces of silver, grams of gold, Canadian dollars and US dollars, as well as bitcoins. My ratings for everything will be done on a 1 to 10 chart, and I will put the chart up so you know what I mean by my ratings. I'm not a foodie or a professional in food evaluation. Same goes for hotel rooms or activities. These will be how I feel and how I like it. Your experience may vary because tastes and likes are personal things. Well, alright, so let's go. I spent a lot of time researching this trip. If you plan on doing a cruise, my suggestion is to use a cruise aggregator site to help you choose what ship, duration, and destination you want to do. I would start by choosing the destination, the number of people in the group, if you're not cruising alone, and the duration of the vacation. From there, I use orbits to compare cruises. There are several cruise aggregators available, so just Google them and try to see which one you like best. Using these tools, you can find the best deals, the best cruise for what you want to do or see, and compare almost all aspects of the cruise offerings in a single page. After a lot of research, I ended up choosing to sail on the Sky Princess, leaving from Fort Lauderdale and going to Cozumel, Belize, Roathan, and Costa Maya, before returning to Fort Lauderdale. I decided to use a travel agent to book for me. I was told the service is free, the agent is paid by the cruise line, and the prices for cruises are the same no matter where you book them. So I contracted Expedia and talked to travel agents specialized in cruises. I told her what cruise I wanted exactly, and she took care of the booking for me. She was also able to sell me some travel insurance, which is really important to have. In the end, there was a small $30 fee for her services, but she gave me an onboard credit of $50, so it was not a problem. I booked the air travel tickets myself. I just used an online booking site to choose the best flights for me. I booked 2 separate tickets instead of a 2-way ticket. This allowed me to choose the best flights for me, and it was not more expensive than booking a single ticket. If you do not have a passport, I would suggest waiting to receive your passport before booking anything. Here in Canada, it takes about a month to receive one. It's probably faster where you live. For phone usage during the trip, I found a company that sells SIM cards that works almost everywhere in the world, and the cost is very low. The card costs $30 US, and it has 5 gigabytes of data available. Also, there doesn't seem to be a time limit on when you can use your data. There is a list of all of the companies that are affiliated with them on their website, and in my case, the card would work in the US, Mexico, for my trip to Cozumel and Costa Maya, and Honduras. The only place that I won't be able to use the service will be while we're at sea, and also in Belize. That is good enough for me, and it beats the $13 per day offered by my phone provider. I will make a separate video about SIM per crew if you are interested in this. I also booked the hotel myself, so I used hotel aggregators to do this. I chose a 3-star villa close to Hollywood Beach. This process was much more difficult. I had to use several sites to be able to find something I liked. So after completing all of the bookings, here are the totals I paid so far. So let's start with the passport. I paid $160 Canadian. This is for the 10-year passport. Then we have the cost for the travel insurance, the travel agent's fee, the cruise itself. This is what I paid for the hotel reservation for the first night. I prepaid the crew appreciation in advance, so those are the gratuities that we pay on board for the cruise service. I also purchased 36 water bottles for the cruise. At the time, I did not know that some drinks were available for free on board. I thought that you had to pay for every type of drink because they have a drink for sodas, they have a package for coffee, they have a package for alcohol and things like that. So I was under the impression that water bottles were not included, and they are not, but you can get water anyway. They have filtered water all through the ship, and it's also you can also get iced tea, you can get coffee, you can get tea, you can get herbal tea. all for free lemonade. So there are a few things that you can get for free, and I was not aware of that. So I pre-purchased a lot of water bottles, which I ended up not drinking. I drank maybe 12 of them, and the rest remained in the cabin when I left. So hopefully they're going to refund me for this, but I'm pretty sure they won't. As for my ratings for the various aspects of the pre-booking, here they are. So starting with the process to get the passport, it was really easy. I had no issues at all, so I would give that a 10 out of 10. The Orbitz cruise aggregator site, as well as the other sites I tried, were really good. I would give them a 9 out of 10. The only thing is, not all of the sites offer all of the same ways to compare things. So sometimes you have to go to a different site if you want to verify a specific aspect of a cruise. So it would be nice if one site had everything on one page. But overall, I think Orbitz was the best one. So that's the one I would give a 9 out of 10 to. The travel agent was really easy to work with. I would give her a 10 out of 10. She also checked with me during the process, and she also called me after I came back to make sure that everything went okay. So that's a 10 out of 10 for sure with her. Same thing with the purchasing the travel insurance through her. It was really easy, and I had full coverage for the trip. As for the flight aggregators sites, they all worked really well. I tried a few different ones, and they were all perfect, so I would give them a 10 out of 10. The actual booking was done through the airlines directly. There are companies that offer to book through them, but from what I heard, if there's an issue, it's really difficult to solve it if you go through a separate entity to book the plane tickets. So I didn't want to take a chance. I didn't want to risk anything, and the savings were really small. So I just went directly to Air Transat and directly to Air Canada to book all the ticket. And also, once you're on their site, you can choose your seats. You can prepay for the luggage if you have luggage that need to be checked. So I think that's the easiest way to do it. As for the hotel aggregator, I had to do a lot of searching, as I said, so that would be like more than an 8 out of 10. It worked really well. It's just that like many of them didn't have anything I wanted in terms of reservations. So they're not, I guess there's so many hotels that they can't really have them all on the site. I'm not sure how it works. But anyway, after using a few of them, I was able to find something I liked. I decided to arrive a day early. This way, if there was any issue with my flight, it would not make me miss my embarkation and miss my cruise. So I went to bed at 6 p.m. and I woke up at midnight. I was on the road by 1 a.m. Because I had to leave my truck at a friend's place for the week, and I had to take a cab to the airport. In retrospect, I should have taken Uber and saved $20 for the trip. So I purchased a bottle of diet soap to drink while I was waiting for the plane. Thankfully, the plane is on time. We board and we depart at 7:04 a.m. I am on Air Transat, and the plane is an Airbus A321-200. I decided to take a window seat at the back of the plane. So this is my first time on an airplane. I was worried about being airsick, so I took some air sickness medication 30 minutes before the flight. I also brought chewing gum because it's supposed to help you with the ear issues when you're landing. So the flight was pleasant. A little bit of turbulence, but nothing serious. I watched movies I had downloaded on my tablet during the flight, which is a good thing because they did not have an onboard entertainment system. And so the flight went pretty fast. The only issue I had during the flight was there's very little room to move your legs, especially I guess in economy class like I took. So I wasn't super comfortable because of that. But the seat itself was comfortable enough. I was also told it's cold on airplanes. So I wore a coat, and it turned out that it's not true. I was forced to remove it during the flight, which was quite a feat of flexibility in that really tiny seat. Next time I will take a seat in a row where there is a door, so that you have more leg room. There also was no power outlet available on my seat, but I had 2 power banks with me just in case I needed it. But it was never an issue because it seems that my tablet has an Infinity Stone as a battery. So my overall rating for the flight would be an 8 out of 10, and I would recommend that airline without any issues. When I left Montreal, the temperature was below freezing, and upon landing in Fort Lauderdale, it was a sunny day with a temperature of 81 degrees Fahrenheit. I guess that's a little bit better. So upon landing, I went to the luggage retrieval area, and I really hoped that my bag was not on its way to Abu Dhabi by now. After about 5 minutes, my bag emerged from the storage room, and I am relieved that I will have some clothes to wear during my cruise. So by now it's 11 a.m. and my hotel room will only be available at 4 p.m. I have not eaten since about 3 p.m. the previous day, except for a granola bar during the flight. I'm not really hungry, but I decided to kill time by going to find a restaurant near the hotel. For some reason, I can't get my SIM4Crew card to connect to the AT&T network, and after trying for like 30 minutes, I decided to connect to the airport Wi-Fi network to find an Italian restaurant near the hotel. And then I simply decided to go outside and grab a cab. Again, I should have taken Uber. I did not think about it. I don't know why, but anyway, I took a cab to do it. So I arrived at the restaurant, which is called Floria's of Little Italy. The restaurant is directly on the boardwalk, and that's directly on the beach. So the place was not too crowded, and the food was good, but a little bit expensive. I forgot to take pictures, but I ordered a Philly steak submarine with fries and a Coke Zero, and it cost me $22, plus the tip. So I think that's a bit expensive. Like in Montreal, it would cost less than that in Canadian dollars, so that's like maybe 40–50% more than what we would pay here for the same thing. I guess it might be because they're on the beach. There must be some reason. But anyway, normally food is supposed to be less expensive in the US unless something changed since the last time I looked. Regardless, the food was good and I was happy. So I would give that restaurant a 7 out of 10. It was a good place. So I got to my hotel. I took a Uber to get there. And I was about an hour before check-in time. They still allowed me to take the room, which was great. But I had to search for quite a while for the hotel. So the way it works is they gave me an address, and the address was like on the side of one of their buildings, which was the address of one of the villas. And the office was nowhere in sight. So I had to walk around. I walked around the block, couldn't find it. I found an office, but it had a completely different name. It was Hollywood Beach Hotel. After talking to tenants, they told me, no, that's the office, you have to go there. So I went, and it was the same company. I don't know why. They have probably several companies working under the same roof, but only one of their companies was on the side of the building. So maybe that should be changed. Anyway, so I'd prepaid the room in advance on the internet using my credit card, but for some reason they wanted to charge me $20 extra. Then they told me, oh yeah, it's explained in the documentation, blah, blah, blah. So I was really exhausted from the trip, and I didn't want to argue with them, so I just paid the extra $20. But still, when I came back from the trip, I read the documentation, and there's nothing about it on it. So I think that's a little bit of a scam, personally. Anyway, so just be aware. It seems that's something that's done in hotels in Hollywood. So I grabbed my key cards and went to the villa. So the villa is nice. It's like a small apartment. So you have a living room, you have a dining room with a table. So it's like a kitchen and a dining room combined. You also have a bedroom, obviously, and the toilet. They have a smart TV in both the living room and the bedroom. The kitchen is also equipped with a fridge. It's equipped with a toaster, with a microwave, and there's also clean utensils that you can use in the cupboards. So after resting a little, I took a shower, changed into more climate-appropriate clothes, and I headed to the boardwalk and the beach, which is literally 200 feet away. So the beach was open, but the flags indicated that it was a high risk for swimming because of the strong currents, and also there was a dangerous marine life present. Since I'm not in the mood to either drown, getting bit by a shark, or getting stung by a jellyfish, I decided to simply take a stroll on the boardwalk. So after returning to the villa, I finally managed to connect to AT&T after finding out that one of the settings for some reason had disappeared in the settings for the SIM. So that's why it couldn't connect to AT&T. So when I figured that out, I just put the setting back in and immediately connected to the network. So if you ever purchase a SIM4Crew as a SIM for your phone, be aware of that. That's a problem that I had repeatedly during the trip. It's under the access point. You have to use a specific access point, and for some reason it disappears on the setting from time to time. So I took another Uber. So I decided to go to Walmart to purchase the things I will need for the cruise that I could not have on me during the flight. So mouthwash, toothpaste, and so on, various liquids. And I also wanted to get some pop to get on board, since I decided not to pay the $10 per day to get soft drinks. I also ended up buying dinner there, so I got some steaks and a small tub of Häagen-Dazs ice cream for the evening. So by now I was pretty beat, I just watched 2 episodes of The Last of Us, and I went to sleep around midnight. So tomorrow I have to be up early because it's embarkation day on the Sky Princess. Remember to subscribe to see the rest of the videos of this series if you're not subscribed already, and I'll see you on the next video.